What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the coach's desk. I'm at my home office today. My truck broke down last night, so I'm kind of stuck here. So I'm going to do the coach's desk from here today. And I read something the other day that kind of chapped my ass, so I decided it was a topic that I wanted to touch on, and that was on gear. Now, as I mentioned, it chapped my ass. Don't get me wrong. I've had my own opinions in the past about it. And as with most things, I was pretty verbal about it, but I didn't have a hands-on education on what it was like to actually wear it or use it. Before I go into my tirade, let me explain something. And if you know me personally, you know my opinion is education, education, education. There's no substitute for hands-on experience with something. If you just take someone's value, if you just take someone's opinion and turn that into your personal value system, it loses its intrinsic meaning because you haven't experienced it yourself. So unless you've experienced it yourself, unless you've experienced, 6, 7, 8, 900 pounds on your back, understanding what that feels like, it holds very little meaning for you. And the same thing with powerlifting gear, whether that's a squat suit or a bench shirt. You see, the internet quarterbacks or the internet critiquers out there, flapping off at the mouth about, if I put on a shirt, I could bench 1,000 pounds too, or if I did this, I could, squat 1,000 pounds and this, that, and the other. Anyone. I'm going to get to my point here in a second. I'm kind of got 1,000 thoughts going on at once. Anyone who can bench 600 in a shirt can bench 400 plus raw, but not everyone who can bench 400 raw can bench 600 in a shirt. Don't think that putting on a bench shirt is going to automatically give you a 200-pound increase in your bench press. That is a huge fallacy, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. Just because you put on a shirt doesn't mean you're going to get an enormous bench, or put on a squat suit that you're going to get an enormous squat. A, your body's probably not strong enough to hold the weight, and B, you don't know how to use it, which is a science unto itself. I'm still struggling with learning my bench shirt. It's got to be the biggest pain in the ass I've ever experienced in my life, and it is by no means easy to do. You still have, 600 or 700 pounds in your hands. It's still elevating your blood pressure. It still feels like your head is going to burst. And you have to have strong enough wrists, hands, forearms, and overall body to be able to manipulate that weight where you want it to go into the groove of the shirt. Same thing with a squat suit. Just because you put on a squat suit doesn't mean you're going to stand under a bar and be able to stand up with 800 pounds on your back, or 900 pounds, or 1,000 pounds. If you're not strong enough to handle that weight on your own, a squat suit is not going to hold you up. You're going to pick it up and you're going to get crushed. So every time I hear somebody flapping off at the mouth about, I could squat 1,000 or I could bench, 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds too if I had a shirt, horse shit. You're fucking deranged. Gear is not going to make you strong, period. So using gear is not cheating. It is harder than hell, and I have a whole new respect for it since I started using it. I came from strongman and martial arts where, for the most part, that was pretty alien for us. Not so much in strongman. You can use a squat suit, but you are limited to things in strongman. We don't bench, and there's really no bench in strongman. You can use, wrist reps for deadlifting, and there is hitching, but there's no sumo. So every sport has its own thing. But when I made the migration over into powerlifting and tried gear, I had an entirely new respect for it because I had a hands-on education of the process. It is terribly difficult, and it in itself puts an enormous strain on your body. It is unbelievably difficult. So unless you've experienced it yourself, unless you've had 700 pounds in your hands hovering over your face, or 900 pounds on your back and feeling like you're going to get pushed through the floor, you don't have an opinion. Unless you've had a hands-on experience with it, your opinion is nothing but fart noise. So keep it to yourself unless you've done it yourself. And that's today's Coach's Desk. I'll see you tomorrow.